Hi guys, this is Eric from Dumb Game Dev. Today we're going to be modeling a low poly crate using UModeler, and I have a little reference image here that I'm just going to generally follow, not exactly, but you can see it here with this crate, and you can see some other examples of low poly crates. So we're just going to do the modeling part. We're not going to do any of the texturing or anything like that. So let's just start off by making the bottom of the crate here and then working our way on from that. So jumping back into Unity, I already have a UModeler object added to the scene. So just to do that, you're just going to right-click, choose 3D object, and mesh with UModeler, and that's going to open up your UModeler stuff. Personally, I'm going to switch this over to the text-based menu just to make it a little faster for myself. And I'm going to turn on the status and not the global overlay. I like my rotation snap to be 45, and I'm not going to turn on any grid snapping. So I'll just take a box and we'll just draw that out. And we can just do it like this. Just drag it on the screen and then lift it up. And why don't we just do this so we can see it a little bit better. And now that it's here, we can actually adjust the size. So this is quite a huge box, but that's okay. I like to model things quite large, and then I'll size it down after, and we can do that. So I'm just going to go say 8, and you can see that it's changed to 8. And then we'll do the depth maybe as 14, and the height as, say, 4.5 or something. So that looks about right for me. Once you're done, you can just hit confirm, and then it's done. Now, before I do anything else, I like to put in a couple of edge loops first, because sometimes it can be hard to put edge loops in after once you start messing with the cube. So to have it done at the beginning just sort of makes things a little bit easier for me later on. So I'm just going to put one here and one here, and I think that will probably be enough to start. So the next thing I'm going to do is just put a inset in the top here and then press that down so that we have a hole. So I'm going to grab the face, and we can hold Control and grab more than one face, and then choose the inset tool. So right now it's set to individual insets, and you can see that they're separate. And I don't want that. I want them to be a group inset. Oops, I have to grab these faces again. And we're going to have them as a group, and I'm just going to do it visually, and something like that looks probably about right for me. Then I'm going to grab the faces, just holding Control, but I'm going to hold Shift and press down, and this is going to extrude down for me. And I can see it's too far down now, so I'll just lift it up a little bit, and that's nice. It would be nice if we had some sort of wireframe mode here, but we don't. We could change the material ourselves, but I'm just a little too lazy to get that done. Okay, the next thing to do is I want to add sort of this inset in the end here. So again, we'll just do that the same way. Shift click this, hit inset, draw it into about where we like, and that looks about right for me. Nothing too dramatic here. And then you say, okay, well, I guess I have to do that on both sides, right? And that's sort of a pain in the butt. But we don't actually have to do this on both sides. We can just mirror this over to the side. So if you're new to mirroring, under the Add tool we have Mirror. And we don't want the Z, we want the X, I believe. There we go. And you can see the direction it's pointing, so it's going to mirror this way, I hope. So let's hit Start. And then if we check the other side, yep. Now it's just the same as this side. So we can hit Done, and it's going to mirror it over, and it's copied it over. So now we only have to do that one time. So why don't we do this front face now, and let's turn off the mirror. Before we do this, I am going to add some slices here. Let's add a couple more loop slices. So I'm going to do 2, and these are not quite in the right place that I want, but that's okay. So I'm going to grab the slice just by double clicking on it, and then I can drag it out to where I want. And I'm going to hold down the Control key and use this to snap. So I have snap to vertex set, and what it's going to let me do is basically just adjust this to the nearest vertex that I'm pointing at when I'm holding Control. So now you can see this has a nice border here. So we can do the same on the side. We'll double click it, drag it out, hold down the control key, and it will snap to where we want it. Okay, the reason I did this is because when I put more loop slices in here, they're always going to be centered between these other slices. And you can have a look here. So we'll just go add loop slice, and I'll roll this out to 3, and you can see it's centered between these lines. And now I have nice 3 boxes that don't include these edges, which I don't want. So we'll grab this again, and then we'll just hit inset. And actually this time I want individual insets. And oh, I accidentally did 4, but that's cool. I meant to do 3 loop slices. And that, yeah, something like that's okay for me, Why don't we just bring this down a little so we don't need to see any of this. Okay, that's better. So let's just grab these faces, just like before. And I'm going to turn it around a little bit. And now I can hit Shift, and just bring these in a little bit. Hopefully not too far that they pop past. So, I mean, you could spend more time and make this sort of like nice, perfectly even in how you want it. You could measure it out or whatever you want. But, I'm just doing this quickly to give you an idea. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is hit mirror again. And this time I'm going to mirror it on the Z. Hit start, done, and then now we have both sides done. Okay, so why don't we take a quick look back at our model here, what we're building, and you can see I have one too many, but we've got the general shape out pretty fast. So the next thing we want to do is add this lid, which has these sort of top bands on them on the top and bottom. And let's see, what's the best way to do this? Do we remember how big we made this? That's probably the easiest way, is just to remember the size of this. So we'll see if I remember the size. So let's make a new UModeler object and draw it out here. So it's roughly, so I guess I did 8 by 14. So we can type it in here. The width was 8 by 14. And that's a little bit too thick. Why don't we just use, like, say 1, maybe even a little less, say 0.8. Okay, that looks good. We'll hit confirm. And now this is its own object. We can just grab it using the object mode. Hit V in Unity to grab the corner and hover over corner and just drag it, and this will snap just like a vertex snapping here in Unity. Right, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to add these things here. As you can guess, we could just do this using edge loops again. I can show you another way to do it, which I'm not crazy about, but also works. We could do this way. So we're just looking at the top here, and I'm going to click again to go into ISO mode, which is orthographic. So we don't have any distortion here. Now I can grab the box here, just like before, and you can see there's a little bit of snapping, which is cool. And we can draw a, I should probably tilt this on an angle actually, so let's undo that just so I can see it better. So we can draw just like this. We can draw straight on. We don't even need to add any edge loops and do it that way. And then you think, oh, okay, well this is sort of at the wrong place, right? And that's cool. Again, we just can use the mirror and add it over like this, start, done, and now we have 2 perfectly equal placements of these boards on top. And I might just grab these using control and then actually just squish them down a little bit so they look better. Okay, so why don't we just grab the whole UModeler object so I can see it better and pull this up a bit. And now we need the same thing on the other side. So again, we can just mirror this one more time so we have these on the other side, which is super easy. We're going to use mirror. And does that look like it's in the right place? I think so. So we'll just go start. Uh-oh. It's going the wrong way. So we want to click this invert and start, and then now we have where we want it to be. It's pretty close. Close enough for me. Okay. Click done. And now that we're on the bottom, we want to sort of push these ones in a bit. So let's just see if we can do that by pushing in the faces, or if we have to add some sort of a slice to it. Yes. So that's not going to quite work. As you can see, it wants to pull in this face with it, and that's fine. We'll work our way around that. So let's just do it on the top. If you know what I'm talking about, let me check back. You can see these ones are sort of cut in a bit versus on the top. So why don't we do it on the top first, and then we'll just flip it over because it's easier to see that way. And again, we can just use our handy edge loops. We could also maybe use a pen tool, but I'm not going to use that here. It seems like more work. So let's add in this loop slice. We'll do it by 2. We'll click. Now, we've got a little handy way to do this. We can grab this one and double click, hold Control, grab this one and double click, and now we can just move them both out at the same time by using the scale tool. So we can just scale it out like this, and you know, something like that is probably what I'm looking for. And now let's see if we can just, in fact, remove these faces. And there's probably easier ways to do this, but you know, I just want to show you different ways of doing things here. So we've grabbed all these faces. We're just going to choose Erase, and we've got a hole there, and we think, oh, that's not good. And we can fill up that hole. So we'll just grab this edge here and this edge, and we want to bridge this gap. And there's a couple ways to do it, but a very simple way to do it is we just use the bridge here under Add. So we'll click Bridge, and you can see that's fixed. We can grab these two and choose Bridge. And now, you know, that's done. And, you know, if you're going to be super lazy like me, you're just going to go back to the mirror tool and, you know, do it this way. Start. Done. And I did that the wrong way. Let's invert that again. Start. Done. And then now it's done on this side. And now we can do it to the opposite side. We'll just be super lazy here. Make sure it's pointing the right way. Start. Done. And then now this is perfectly symmetrical. Look how easy that is. Okay, now we just want to flip over this whole top. And that's not how I want to do it. Let's do rotation this way. That's better. But it's sort of in a weird position, so we're going to have to adjust this because we want our lid to open properly anyway. So when we bring this down to sort of where we want it, and hit V again, snap it in place. Let's take a look and make sure I actually got those in okay. Oh yeah, it's about right. Okay, now what we can do is the rotation's been changed, and we don't want this rotation to be upside down in Unity, so we're going to go down here and go Bake Transform, and we're going to bake. We can bake both the rotation or the scale both. I'm just going to click Bake All. And now you can see we're back in the center here, and Unity Gizmo is now in the right place. But you know, the next thing I want to do is when I open this in Unity, say I animate it, I want it to rotate at the right place, like when this opens up. And you can see it doesn't do it right now. It's sort of in a weird place. So what we're going to do is turn on this 3D cursor, and you know, you really can't see it. It's somewhere in the scene, but I have no idea where. And then I'm going to turn on the vertex snapping. Oh, there's the 3D cursor. And we're going to grab a vertex that we want to use. And I believe it is Control. We can hover over here. It will actually tell us. Control Shift left mouse button. So Control Shift left mouse button. And okay, I'm having a little problem with that. Control Shift left. Oh, there we go. I don't know why. Okay, so now that we have that 3D cursor sort of where we want things to rotate, we can go back to our options here and then choose We don't want the pivot to the center. Let's see, pivot here. Set the 3D cursor position as a pivot. So we'll click this, and then we'll turn off our 3D cursor. Just grab the whole object, and you can see the transform is now stuck there. And let's just rotate this a little. Oh, and that's perfect. That's exactly how we want it to open. So we're going to hit V and just snap this down again. And you know, we can see this open and close. So that's it. It's quite a large box at this point, so we could scale it down to whatever we want. We could just grab them both, I believe, and hit the scale tool, and they've lost each other, but that's okay. And now we can just say bake transform again, and we just want to bake the scale this time. And so now it says the scale is 111 again. So this is just a better size for them. You could adjust it around. You might want to put just a cube next to it for reference to see how large these are. And there are, let's see, let's go back to our reference here. So we've got a couple more small details we want to add in here. I'm not going to worry about this for now, this hinge, but we can add in these little corners here just for tickles. And let's see, how do we want to do that? There's so many ways. Let's just hide the lid for now so we can see better. And you know, you may want to change the material of the background to make this easier to see what to do, but yeah, I mean, we could use two boxes on the corners, a box on each one basically, and just draw them in like we did with the lid. And let's see that first. Right, so, oopsie, I'll just choose box, and you know, we could just do it like this way, and then bring it out a little bit, and then do, you know, another one here, and bring this one out a bit, and you know, we could sort of shuffle those around and adjust, and you can see the lines in it right now, but when you were, once you've textured it and stuff, you won't see them as much. Oopsie, some weird snapping going on there. But you know, we can just adjust this a little bit. Okay, where's my snapping? Turn off snapping. There we go. Something like this, right? We could always just play around with this and then figure out exactly what we want. We can also use the pen tool to do this, and again, mirror this over when you're done, and you only have to do it once. So let's look at the pen tool. We haven't done that before. Okay, so we have the line tool here. And I believe there's a way to make the line tool stay perfectly straight. Let's hold over and see if it gives us a good tip. No, I don't see any on there, but I believe there is a way. So nevertheless, you could just draw it out like this. Oopsie. Like this. Oh no, I've missed it now. There we go. So did we get that? No. So this, it's a little more of a pain in the butt. It's okay. We'll just do this. We'll do 2 lines instead of trying to do 4. We'll just use it as a slice, and then we can rotate this way. Grab this corner maybe. And you can see it does snap on, although it can be a little bit annoying. So what you're going to do is just put it on, click once with your mouse, drag it over to where you want, and when you've got it in the right place, you can click and then hit space bar to confirm. So now we can grab these 2 faces using Control, use the multi-push pull tool, and use the vertex normal like this. And so this also works. We can draw them on however we want. So we mirror those over and continue on from there. So I think the one last thing they had here is maybe have like a little bump for a bolt. So again, you could texture this on, or we could even just draw it on. if we want to. So you can see there's a center point here, and we're just going to grab the cylinder tool. It snaps to the middle here, and we just click and drag this out, drag it out a little bit, and there we go. We probably don't even need that many sides. Probably go down to like 8. I don't like that. I want 12. There we go. So again, we can just do this and draw these on. You can make them as complex as you want it or as simple. So I think that's a pretty good introduction, at least that I'm going to be able to give you on how to create sort of a crate using this. And you know, you can make lots of cool, simple, low poly models for your game really easy using UModeler.